Obviously, very disappointed. Anytime you lose to your rival, and especially at home, it hurts. We did a really good job of getting up on them, 17-7. We did not play a good third quarter. They were obviously they came out, punched us in the mouth in the second half, and giving up a long run for a touchdown, giving up a kickoff return for a touchdown is definitely a recipe for disaster. I know we were able to get back in it with a big pass to Dexter Carter, and then be able to go for two. Didn't get it, so we were still in it. But again, we allowed them to basically finish the game on us, and that's hard. That's hard. That's now three times. When you start thinking about Army, you start thinking about Georgia State, and now Appalachian State. That's three games that we let get away. Obviously some big time evaluation has to happen, because we should have been able to put that game away. I do think Appalachian State's a good football team, but again, when you get up on somebody 17-7, you don't need to give up those explosive plays like that big run and that big kickoff return.
What do you mean by
Coach?
big time evaluations, Coach?
Well, I think we got to look at, coaches. We got to look at players. I got to look at myself, and shoot, I got to be held accountable and evaluated, because if we just play sound football, you don't give up a 100-yard kickoff return. If you play sound football, you don't give up a 70-yard touchdown run. So those explosives that you need to make the other team earn those. And we didn't, and again, they did a good job of executing. On the kickoff return, they hit us with a field return, something that they haven't really shown all year. Our guys were working to squeeze really hard to the right, to the boundary return that they've been running, and we overplayed it. And when we overplayed it, they were able to get outside, and Jalen Virgil has a lot of speed, and we weren't able to catch him. Then we misfit the long run, and obviously being able to give that up, those two things are big momentum shifts, because we were able to get the field goal, go up by 3, but then to give up that kickoff return, kind of broke us right there. And again, our guys continue to play hard, and got themselves back into the game, but we did not finish.
Coach, are you seeing similar tendencies? You mentioned the Georgia State and the Army game before this in 3 games you wanted to finish. Are you seeing similar tendencies? And when you get that lead, or is each game kind of like just a new wrinkle or a new problem you're finding end game scenario?
Well, I don't think it is. I mean, the Army game, it was special teams errors. We obviously gave up a block punt. We missed an extra point. And we missed a field goal, and obviously all of those things could have changed the outcome of that game, and didn't. And then when you go to the Georgia State game, we gave up deep balls, and allowed them to get back in that game doing that, and then this game, giving up the big kickoff return and the big run. I guess big plays, explosive plays, I guess that would be the tendency that is kind of showing up. But, you stick that FAU game in there. We didn't do that. We played a pretty good game against FAU as far as finishing the game. I don't know. I got to look at it, but just disappointed because we had the game where we wanted it. And we could have definitely put it away if we'd have just played disciplined football, and we didn't execute. And that always falls back on the head coach. I mean, because now you're looking at special teams errors. Now you look at a big play here, a big play there, and we really got to look at why that was happening. I know we. Defensively, we knew they were going to get the ball first in the second half, and we knew that was going to have to be a big stand for us, so that we could continue to have that momentum, and we were not able to do that opening up the third, and then that kind of led to the 2 bigger plays later on. So, we got to look at why that happened. We got to look at why we were not able to get a good stop right there at the start of the third quarter.
Coach, are you guys, if you receive a bowl bid, is the plan to go? Do you think you guys might be too depleted at this point? I know there are a lot of guys banged up in a bowl game. I mean, some of them are coming up in like a week and a half. What's the plan and kind of the outlook there?
Most definitely. I mean, we would accept a bowl game. We are beat up. We got beat up after that Army game, and we really haven't recovered as far as injuries have gone. But I think there's a lot of guys stepping up. I know Miller threw a couple interceptions, and he, had a fumble, and that's not good at the quarterback position. But to be thrown in as the next guy up, next man up. Being able to throw a big touchdown pass to Dex. Guys are stepping up, but obviously our depth is not where it needs to be able to, play a full 4-quarter game. But again, we would definitely go to a bowl game for sure.
Coach, considering all the turnovers, the things that went wrong, the giving up, that you were still in the game there late in the game, it seemed like a few of the things like special teams, I know you've mentioned that before and you mentioned it again. Alex did a good job with a couple of field goals, but your kickoff returns, you got it yourself in a hole a lot. You receive a punt, jump up and field it at the 1. I know those are things, being a special teams coach, that really have to drive you crazy.
Well, as far as the whole special teams, obviously the kickoff returns, the one that really hurts. The punt that we caught at the 1, we were in defensive safe, and our corner was playing man-to-man, and he was covering his guy. So, obviously they were in an offensive formation, and then they went to a quarterback punt, but the outside receiver released outside of our corner, so his back gets turned to him. And so, he didn't know if it was a punt or a pass. The coaching point there is, though, it's 4th down. It's 4th down. And we don't need to intercept a pass on 4th down if it was a pass. So, again, I don't think that one really counts on special teams just because it was a defensive safe play. The kickoff return was really bad. That was a problem. Our kickoff return, I don't think we made good decisions back there. To be honest with you, Caleb Hood is an explosive player and a good player. And sometimes you want to take those chances with him because he can change the game in special teams. But the way App was covering on kickoffs and our ability not to get them blocked, I don't think those were good decisions that were made back there. So those kickoff returns hurt because now you're starting inside the 20 instead of on the 25 when you take a fair catch. Those are free yards that you should have. So we got to be a little bit more disciplined there. But other than that, I thought the rest of the special teams was really good. I thought our punt return team, I thought our punt team, and obviously our field goal team, I thought that improved tremendously. We were able to, with our field goal team, we were able to make some substitutions, put some bigger bodies in there that allowed us to protect better than the previous week against FAU. So I think that was definite. But again, the kickoff return was a killer. The 100-yard kickoff return, killer.
Coach, I know you're not trying to make excuses for anything, but at some point, with all the injuries, the suspensions, you're at the point where Shai wasn't playing, Justin wasn't playing, Wesley's not in. I know you got CJ Wright back today, but at some point, you got to feel like that stuff will catch up to a team. Do you think any of that could have played a factor in tonight? And if you needed that big explosive play, Wesley is a guy that's usually there to do that. Shai's a guy that's there to do that. Even Kendrick Duncan on the defensive side is a leader. So at any point, does that stuff kind of start to add up for you?
I could easily make the excuses for that. We do have a lot of injuries, and we've got a lot of good players out, and that hurts because when you go up against, when I look at it, I mean, we just played our 12th game today, right? I'm not sure how many Appalachians played off the top of my head, but when they had their COVID problems, they were able to shut down a little bit, and then and now they haven't played as many weeks in a row as we have, and so I don't know their injury situation. I don't, but again, they may have had more depth than us today. And, that is definitely something that you have to look at. But again, I believe in all our guys. And we prepare them well, and we prepare them for the moment. And I believe that they will step up and make plays. Obviously it hurts to not have Shy Werts. It hurts not to have Justin Tomlin. But Miller was brought in here to be that if need be. And again, we've got to continue to coach him and get him better. And, maybe look at the freshman quarterbacks a little bit and see how that would work. And, we put Caleb Hood, a couple times in at the Wildcat stuff. So, maybe he's a guy, but we got to look at that. But I do think we've got enough players to go do it. But again, depth is an issue right now. It really is.
Is
Coach,
it possible that Shy could be back for a bowl game, or is that a no-go?
I maybe. I just don't know if the shoulder's ever going to be right for him to be able to do it. We'll continue to look at it, monitor it, and see. But if you had to, if I had to make a decision today, I would say he would probably not.
Was there any thought to play Sam Kenderson? I know you talked about how explosive a player he can be.
Yeah, we wanted to, and we wanted to get him reps this week, but he got banged up in the Georgia State game, and hasn't really recovered from that. And I mean, he only played those 2 plays, and he had an injury, and we're trying to rehab him and get him going. It's hard to stick a guy in at quarterback, and not be healthy up top or down below, and because of what we do at quarterback. So Sam hasn't really been an option just because of the injury he's had.
Coach, what happened to Justin?
It's an ankle injury. I don't know the severity of it yet, but I know that they took him and got him x-rayed and ruled him out for the game. It happened on the touchdown. I think he got rolled up on and all that. So I know we're going to get it checked on tomorrow. I believe we're going to do it actually Monday. I think there's going to MRI set up for Monday to see where he's at. But I'd just be speculating right now to know exactly the extent of the injury.
There'd be a chance that you would play as early as the 21st in a bowl game. It doesn't give you a lot of time to heal up. How do you guys feel about your bowl prospects, and are you worried at all that they'll look and say they're down to their 3rd string guy and things like that would hurt you?
I don't think so. I believe did Troy lose today to Coastal? So I think that we're probably in good shape for that bowl bid. Again, I don't know. I mean, I gotta get with our athletic director and see what's being said and all that type of stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what to select. I know the selection is based off the Sun Belt standings. And if Troy did lose today, then that definitely would take care of us being in one of those bowls. So again, if they make a decision just because of our health, then that's really on the bowl, I believe.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the job that Miller had to do tonight? Did you limit some playbook options, or did you kind of was it situational based on the score and the time left in the game?
Well, for Miller, there are certain things that we can't do, and then there's certain things that we can do. We did have to limit things. He did get a significant amount of reps this week. But again, it's about what he can do, what he can do efficiently to help our team. I do think he's a tough dude that wants to win. I do think he has that grit in him, but he may not be as athletically blessed as the other ones, and that's not his fault. But we have to do the things that he can do to be able to execute. So it did limit us a little bit, but again, if he ends up being our guy in the bowl game, then we have to look and see what's going to be best for us to be able to function as an offense. Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Disappointed, but man, appreciate y'all and appreciate y'all covering Georgia Southern football. And let's go do this thing one more time for 2020.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. GATA.